I'm Ariana Grande.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Erivo.
And you're listening to the Broadway Podcast Network.
Visit bpn.fm to discover more.
There's a cat over here. There's a cat over there. And the wrong one died. And the wrong one died.
Welcome to The Wrong Cat Died, the podcast breakdown of catastrophe. I'm your host, Mike Abrams, and today we have another amazing guest. He's been in, I believe, 12 Broadway shows, including the original production of Newsies and more recently in Hamilton. But I know him from his performance as Skimbleshanks in the 2016 Broadway revival of Cats. So welcome, Aaron Albano, and thank you for joining me.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I'm excited.
Long time coming.
I know, it's been a long time. I've talked to most of the 2016 revival,
which is amazing.
I know, and I've been wanting to have you on for a while because I know you started as a swing, covered a lot of cats, and then you were Skimbleshanks at the end, and then recently you posted some stuff about cats. So I was like, it's time. Clearly, cats is on your mind.
Wonderful. Oh yeah,
it's time to do it. So
happy to be here. Yeah.
Well, I always love to start with the beginning. So what is your cat's history? Like, when did you first see it?
Okay. See, here's the funny thing, because a lot of my company was like Cats kids.
Yeah.
I was not a Cats kid. I was a Newsies kid. But I think my first introduction to cats wasn't even the movie. I think it was. Did you ever hear about that? It was this concert celebrating Cameron Mackintosh called "Hey, Mr. Producer."
I did not.
Okay, so this was this the concert, I think, done in London, where it was basically like a "Here Is Your Life" of producing for Cameron Mackintosh, and it had casts from Les Mis and Phantom and Miss Saigon and and there was one section, and I think they played it on PBS when they wanted
some airtime at the end. Yeah,
they wanted to people hey, viewers, whenever people, they would need sponsors, or what was it called back in the day? It was when you called in to give money.
Oh, yeah. The telethons.
That, yes, it was absolutely that. So they would play it all the way during then. And I remember being at home, and they had a big cat section of the show, because obviously, why not? And I think they did, either part of the opening number or part of the ball, but it was just all of these cats just dancing up a storm, and it was beautiful and it was wonderful, and I was like, this is amazing. What is this? This is cats? Okay, cool. To which I then got a little bit I drank a little bit of the Cats Kool-Aid, where I was like, I want to find out more about this. To which then I discovered the film, the Little Life Cap. To which I was like, okay, let's watch Cats. And sorry to say, when I was watching that movie, back then I didn't know the show. So I want to say we got up to Bustifer, and I literally was like,
yeah, I'm good.
It's not anything. What's happening? Because, when you go in blind.
Yeah.
And especially when you're a teenager, you're like, what's happened? I don't what's going on? You're unaccustomed to the non-linear musical, because all you know is Disney movies and or book musicals.
Yeah.
And so my first experience of Cats as a whole, I don't even think I finished it. I think I got to about maybe Bustifer or maybe Mungo Rump, and I was like, is anything gonna happen? And so I didn't. I think I just then turned it off, and I was like, you know what, I'm fine with Cats. And so I was like, all right, well, Cats is something that God bless, everybody loves it. People who were raised on it must love it for some reason. No yucking their yum, but it's not for me. Fast forward then too.
Yeah. I love this though, because you saw a telethon, you just saw a random number with a bunch of people dancing.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, let's dig in. But if you go in blind, I went in blind as well, and it is wild to go in blind. I think
when you see it, again, when it's a Tony performance or a Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade, it did exactly what it was supposed to do, where I was like, ooh, what is this? It's just people dancing, and I'm excited for it. So but then when you approach it all right, let's go and invest 2.5 hours into a story, and then you discover there's no story, at least in the obvious sense.
Yes.
You're like, okay, what's happening? And what am I watching? And let's go watch cartoons instead. Like, I don't know. I definitely did not jump on the Cats train quite yet at that point.
Yeah. There's a production in Florida happening right now as we're recording this, or just starting. And actually they made a post and was like, here's how to have a good time, because I think it's part of their season. And Cats is a tough season, like, number, because if you're so used to, like you said, the Disneys, the Newsies, like those storylines, you're not going to get it. And the number one thing they said is like, let go of the story. Like, just come in with don't try to figure it out. Just come in, enjoy the singing and dancing. And I thought that was actually a really smart post on their part of like, don't even try. Because like, you either have to do that or you have to like do what I did, which is you go all in on the story and like spend way too much time figuring out, because it's there.
Well, I think,
but it's not there the first time you see it. It's really hard the first time you see it.
No, you need like a Cat's guide to watch Cats for sure. Because I think I've discovered like my like sort of elevator pitch for the show when people are like, okay, what's Cats? And I'm like, you know what? It's chorus line, but Cats. Like, that's sort of the way I tell people. And they're like, oh, okay. I was like, they're all looking for a job, AKA heaven or whatever the Heaviside Layer is. And I'm just like, and they're presenting themselves to be picked. And I'm like, all right. And that's all you got. That's all you need. That's all that is there. Period. The end.
I was like, do a work. Well, I got asked to give a work presentation in front of about 400, 500 people that was about my experience doing this podcast.
Amazing.
Which was a very fun but silly thing to say yes to be in a very professional corporate setting and then have to like explain how I ended up on the stage in Germany at, like touring the set of the international tour. But I started with I think you should know the plot. And my plot was like very, very quick. And like I did it for comedic effect too, of like, let's make this a little over the top.
I feel like you have to. There's no other way.
But it was very simply, this is a cult of cats that come together once a year to decide to sacrifice one. I was like, they basically all explain why they think they should win. They end up in what I can only describe as a not work appropriate dance number.
Beautiful.
And then one that hasn't been in the show the entire time comes back. They welcome her back. They send her off to her death, the end of the musical.
Beautiful.
And I was like, that's my like elevator pitch of it. Because if you go from that, you actually can follow the rest of it pretty well. Because it's like, okay, this is why this story is why this cat should win. This is why this cat should win. If you go in trying to find I always call it the sitcom like through lines of the conflict resolution, point A, point B, plot A, plot B, everything coming together neatly at the end, you're not going to get that. And that's the Disney and Newsies and all the other,
that's just a normal
stories. Yeah, well, everything else
musical.
in the world.
Yeah, that's an Oklahoma book musical. Yeah,
but it's fun. But then you get cast. So where is this in your Broadway journey?
So I get cast in. So I think auditions for Cats were happening early 2016 for the revival of Cats. Were happening early 2016. And I think at the time I was just finishing up Allegiance. So Allegiance was my 8th Broadway show is that right? Yes. 8th Broadway show at the time.
Fitting for this to be 9th.
I was going in, and I'd never worked for Andy Blankenbuehler yet. I had known him for ages, but I had yet to be fortunate enough to work with him in a professional setting. And so when those began, it was sort of a like, all right, I'd like let's go do Cats because if there's any Cats that I think that I'll be wanting to like experience, because again, remembering my like experience with, and again, this has all changed since then, obviously, but at the time, my like aversion to Gillian Lynne Cats, I was like, okay, if I'm gonna get on board with this IP, maybe it'll be with Andy's Cats. So let's go see how this goes. And again, I was more there for the experience of another Broadway show, to work with one of my, like, with someone that I've looked up to for a very long time. And, just hoping for the best. And then the journey started there. I think we learned, I want to say like 4 or 5 combos, 3 3, 4. I think we learned a tugger combo, a ball combo. That might be it.
Yeah.
Tugger combo and a ball combo. And I think the Mistos learned a Misto combo. And I think the women learned a McCavity combo.
Okay.
So I think that was the 4 combos, at least at the time, existed in the Cats audition process.
Yeah.
But I remember during the ball, one of our instructions was like, pick a cat, any cat. Let's see what you do with it.
Yeah.
And I think at that point, I just chose Skimble because I was like, all right, let's put a vest on me. Not even really remembering that he actually wears a vest in the show.
Yeah.
But I was like, to be as like prim and proper and annoyed with Grisabella as I can, let me like straighten, like as we go and like attack her, let me like straighten my tux, let me straighten my bow tie, and then go and like swipe at her. Yeah. And then luckily I was cast. I think we found out maybe in April and we started rehearsal maybe in May or June. Yeah, but it was awesome. And then I ended up swinging the show, and I covered 7 cats. I found my swing cards from the production back in the day. So back then I covered Skimble, Carbuckety. Who are my green cards? Coricapat. Who is this? They were all color coded. So Pounciful, Tumble Brutus, which I don't tumble, which I hear you've been hearing a lot of Tumble Brutus covers that don't tumble. Alonzo and Mungo Jerry. Was that 7? Yeah, that feels like 7.
That's what I have from the fan Wikipedia page. So that's what they've got there.
Oh, wow. Wait. I didn't. Okay, great.
Oh, yeah. I can send it to you after. There's a nice little, essentially a Wikipedia that has, I don't know who keeps it all up to date because there's a lot of stuff in there, but it's got when people are in productions, it generally pulls in your start and end dates and when you're on. So it's a good starting point for understanding at least a rough idea of what people have done in the Cats world.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So you start as a swing, you're doing 7 cats, covering everything. Yeah. This is your first Andy Blankenbuehler show. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I moved to New York right as this was happening. And so this was one of the first shows I saw when I was in New York because a friend who worked on Broadway was like, you should go see it. It's coming back. But what was the vibe leading up to it? Because I know there was I've heard a little bit of it. I know there was some stories with Nicole Scherzinger versus Leona Lewis and all that stuff.
Sure.
But I don't I wasn't in the city and very in tune to the Broadway world at the time.
Of course.
To know of was this everyone was pumped or was people was there some, I know there were some nerves with the super fans of Andy just purely because they're so Gillian Lynne purists. What was your experience in the rehearsal room of the vibe coming into it?
Well, in the rehearsal room, everybody was sort of on their best behavior. I think especially because, there's such reverence for the show.
Yeah.
I have been very fortunate to be a part of a lot of quote unquote tribes of that exist in shows. Like I'm a newsie, I'm a cat, I'm a da-da-da-da-da. And ain't no show has stronger Kool-Aid than Cats. Because I remember before the show, I think there was it was a joke, but not a joke sort of thing where it was announced and people were auditioning for it, but there was a sort of guerrilla campaign where flyers would just show up in New York being let's stop this revival. People were stop.
Really?
Cats. Oh, it was. And again, will we ever know if it was actually serious or if it was actually a joke? Who's to say? But it was very funny. And those of us who did not have any Cats history, who knew each other already, were texting each other these things that were what are we about to do, guys? And it was hilarious. I think I have a picture somewhere of it where it was literally posted in the middle of Brooklyn somewhere where it was stop Cats. We don't need this show. It was so, because I think the Cats love is strong and the Cats hate is strong for no real particular reason.
Yeah.
And I think, again, as someone who was like ain't no bigger zealot than a convert. Is that like the phrase or something like that? Like
I don't know, but I love that.
It was like I came from complete Cats hate. Like again, I was like, I don't get it. This is silly. This is dumb. And then completely turning around and being like, oh wow, okay, I see why this was the longest running show for a very long time. Whether you get it or not, like there is something to be got. And however you resonate with the show, like, is valid and people love it. Like, it's one of those things, it's like there's a reason why there's so many productions. There's a reason there's so many tours. There's a reason why, like, for more inside baseball, whatever contract it's on for equity, like, they know it's going to sell out, so they know the overages are going to be good. Like, because Cats is Cats at the end of the day. It's kind of crazy. But to answer your question, I feel like it was, if I were to put money on it, I feel like it was a little more apprehensive than not, only because the cat haters were the cat haters. But then the Cats lovers were a little tentative about the Andy Blankenbuehler of it all. Because again, like you said, some like Gillian Lynne Cats is the definitive Cats for a lot of people.
Totally. It's so interesting to hear that. Well, first of all, one thing I want one of those posters so badly now. Like that's all I like. Well, I need that for my like weird Cats collection.
I'll send you the picture and you can.
I
print
want
it
the
out
picture
because,
for sure. But but the Cats haters. I've always wanted to have one on this show and to talk through it with somebody. And every time I meet one, and who's like, some of them are deep theater people, like they are really, really deep theater people.
Oh, for
very
sure.
Knowledgeable and like articulate with how they are defending or talking about their shows. I've yet to ever meet anybody that can articulate a real reason for hate on Cats. Besides, it's just not their cup of tea.
Sure.
It's just a little weird. Because you can't argue there's no story. Because if I sat down with you for 5 minutes, I could get you the through line.
Yeah.
And if you watch it, you will understand it. And it's very clearly in the text. It's in it's in the book. It's there. It's not there obviously the first time you see it, but it's there.
Yeah.
So it's like there's just not an answer. And
it's non-linear, but it's a story. Like there's a real story.
Yeah.
Something happens, and it just takes a while to get to.
We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back for more of The Wrong Cat Died. The other part that you mentioned is like, I don't know anything about dance. Like I didn't grow up. I grew up playing hockey. I couldn't tell you. If you showed me the two side by side of Gillian Lynne's versus Andy Blankenbuehler, I'd be like, oh, those look different. I would not be able to tell you which is which.
For sure.
And that is, I understand the like fandom because you grew up with that's like the thing and there was like clearly some affinity to that as a child or whatever. But I also am like, there's a lot of people that love the Joe Cabal. And this is a totally different version, and yet exactly the same. Mm-hmm. And so it's like I do like the evolution, and maybe this is me personally, but like I like some of the like Jamie Lloyd interpretations. I like some of these like different, unique, like tweaks to shows. Yeah. And so I think that there's like a lot of value in that. But I was curious the vibe at the time, so I appreciate you answering that because I wasn't in tune to it. And when I went to a preview, I went again walking in with no knowledge of what I was seeing. And then my friend canceled on me because they got sick. So they basically like, I was supposed to watch it with a friend, and then I moved
so
here.
You saw it
nobody.
alone and sober.
Alone and sober, midday, Saturday afternoon. I lived in New York for probably a month
5 minutes.
At most.
Yeah.
I did not have a friend group to be like, hey, that morning, do you want to drop what you're doing and come see Cats with me? Like,
sure.
It was a very, very bizarre experience to see that at that moment in life.
As your like first Broadway show you were ever seeing.
Thankfully not. Like I at least have had like my mom's music teacher. I went to all the stuff that toured Indiana. Like I've been to like whenever we came to New York, we would see 1 or 2 shows. So it wasn't my very first Broadway experience, but it was pretty early in my Broadway experience living in the city, in like the theater district at the time, trying to understand like what was happening, and then just completely lost. But okay, let's pivot though a little bit because I am fascinated in the rehearsal process, and I've heard a lot of people talk about it, but I'd love to hear your experiences, especially since you have the cards with you. But when you're swinging, how much of the story are you trying to put into the backstories of these characters versus just making sure you're in the right place for the right kick at the right time? Like what goes into that?
I mean, in an ideal world, it's sort of happening at the same time.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't want to speak for everyone, but realistically, like, one takes precedent because you don't want anybody to get hurt, or you don't want the wheels to fall off the wagon per se. So, I mean, because I remember like every time, I mean, like all of my cards, the first thing that has them are the 3 words, because every time I was on, I was like, okay, before I even start looking, because my structure of my like swing cards was always like, for every other show that I do, is like the first costume that I begin in, the wig call, running which lifts I can do. But for these cards specifically, it's like, all right, start with the 3 words for everybody. And I was like, all right, let's read those. And if I can, if I'm not like freaking out with where I'm standing, I can instill my performance with those qualities in some way, in which case then I'll be doing the show.
Yeah.
And
I
so,
love that.
yeah. And so like, I think, and then as your familiarity with the track, with the role sort of progresses, then you're able to let go of the sort of nuts and bolts, and you can really start diving into the character. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Yeah.
The 3 words are great because you're going in with at least the persona and the vibe. And that's like at the top of all the other stuff that you got to do. But you're not going that next layer deep until later on. So it's like you're not thinking about the Mungo Jerry and Rumpelteazer. Are they dating or brother, sister, or what relationship? You're just thinking about being mischievous and whatever the other words are for Mungo Jerry. So that's that makes a ton of sense. Does that shift though when you're going on then, because you become the full-time Skimble? How much then do you say like, okay, now let's start figuring out, do I got to play this with Tugger because that's what Jeremy did before, or this is this with that, because how does that work?
I will say, like, as a replacement, at least, okay, let me speak for myself again, and it was an interesting process going from covering Jeremy into playing Skimble full time. It was an interesting moment of sort of like, all right, I had like my version as Jeremy had said it. Now I'm going to be playing Skimble. Now I get to figure out my Skimble. Yeah. And it was actually quite an interesting sort of process, because it was a conversation that I had with sort of our dance captains at the time, where I was like, okay, I was covering before. Now I'm doing. So I'm going to start playing again. I'm going to start like exploring this role. I'm going to start like, I'm in previews essentially. And because there were a couple of times when I would like get notes on certain things. And I've been around for a while, so I can usually more often than not tell when a note is like for safety or for whatever, or for things, which is great, which obviously I want. But then there are other notes that are usually, it's the most polite way to say this, preferential to the people around me, because it's just things that they've gotten used to, or the things that they've like developed with other people. And again, because I'm not someone new coming in, and I had been doing it the way my predecessor had been doing it, they were used to that. And so when I would sort of start playing, they'd be like, wait, did you like I like it better when he did it this way. And I'm like,
interesting.
All right, I need you like, and I straight up like would have a conversation with my dance captains to be like, okay, I love you so much, and I'm obviously going to take all of the like safety notes. I would like to ask you a favor. Can you hold off on character notes for a little while? And especially preferential notes, because I get to like, this is my role now, and I get to figure it out for myself.
Yeah.
Like, and that's, and so I guess sort of, I don't want to say I put my foot down, because that feels rude and that feels kind of diva-y, but kind of, because I was like, no, Jeremy was Jeremy. I'm me. Yeah. Like, and so I do get the privilege of developing this role on me now. And so that's an interesting, and so, yeah, so like the role changed a little bit. I feel like, again, I still played Skimble, but I think that was also an interesting journey that I sort of had with Cats also, because if anything, I will say Cats ironically, as a Skimble and as the type A person that I am, hello, I still have my cards from the show. But like, I think my type A really helped me personify Skimble.
Yeah.
However, because of the nature of cats, both the show and the animal, like, I think it like, if there was a lesson that I took from cats, it was like, hey bro, chill out. You're playing a cat. It's not that deep. Like, whatever presents itself in any given performance gets to be what the show is that day.
Yeah.
And it was a cool sort of lesson for me as a person who's done this for a while and was kind of sort of set in my ways to be like, nah, brah, chill. Like, maybe you like Pounciville today. Maybe you don't like Pounciville today. Maybe you love, like, yeah. I mean, and one person who like really taught me that, and I've known him for a very long time, and but we'd never worked together. Tyler Haynes was huge in that, like, because he would, wait, am I allowed to cuss? I forget.
Yeah.
He would fuck around all the fucking time. And I was like, and at first, because again, like, the lore, quote unquote, is like, oh, Skimble doesn't like, and I was like, but also, like, okay, but like, sometimes we can chide each other because at the end of the day, like, sure, we don't like each other. At the end of the Jellicle tribe, the Jellicle family, the Jellicle community, one day you don't like each other, one day you love each other. That's the way this goes because we are a quote unquote family. So let's just lean into that, period, the end.
Yeah. The note's interesting because I think of any show I've seen a lot now, living here and especially doing this podcast. I've had the fortune of getting to go to more. Mm-hmm. And this is a show that feels like that I would expect that note to happen less because there is such freedom in some sense of as long as you stay within your dance numbers and your lanes within the character, persona, you can make some of those minor tweaks and character's decisions every night, and it doesn't dramatically change the show. Mm-hmm. And so, like you said, you can be a family and love this person today, hate them tomorrow, be annoyed with them today, hate them tomorrow. Like, that feels like very in tune to what it is. So it's that note, like, I'm assuming that doesn't happen as much in other shows. Like, there's not this, like, or maybe it does. Like,
without getting too inside baseball about it, it's sort of, I mean, it's all about trust. And it's like, because I hadn't been playing the role full time yet, people didn't quite know, like, is this a mistake? Is this a choice? Is this and of course, and to sort of control their own show, the show that they've been doing for a year, like they're like, all right, let's just like nip that in the butt. But I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't me messing up. This isn't me. Yeah. This is me exploring my show.
Skimble does not make mistakes. Never will make a mistake.
And that's sort of when I was like, no. And then, of course, as time progresses and as like my role comes into greater like focus for me, it also comes into greater focus for everybody else. And that's when sort of they're like, oh, okay, this is Aaron Skimble. Okay. Yeah. Now I know how to play with him. Now I know how to like take him in stride and then really like rebuild the tribe with this new member that happens to now play this character. Does that make sense?
Yeah, completely. Again, have someone who doesn't perform and has never performed and not been in this world. The parallels to I'll say corporate life or more 9-to-5 jobs are still really high. And it's like, I'm always fascinated by hearing all these things because, like a couple things you've even said today just makes me laugh a little bit in the sense of like, you have some people that love cats and hate cats and they're on the, in the rehearsal room respecting it together. I'm like, yeah, there are people that love and hate their jobs and they're all going to go do them. Mm-hmm. And so like, that's the same as most corporate jobs or more traditional corporate world. But then even this, it's like, there's some like, I expect like you becoming the full-time person, there's almost a refresh. Like whenever we get a new person on our team into a new role, there's the learning curve of that, but there's also like some energy that comes into it of like, we got a new person that's bringing some new ideas and new thoughts into it. Mm-hmm. And you got to work through that like team norm stage, which is essentially what you did. But it's like basically you just explained everything that at least I deal with, and I'm sure a lot of people deal with in corporate settings, you're just doing it in a unitard dressed as a cat. Like, you know, it's like, it's just
Truly.
it's just a hilarious, ridiculous version of it, but it's still work at the end of the day, and like a
corporate
job.
structure is corporate structure. Capitalism is still capitalism in any form it comes in. Yeah.
I love it. I want to hear some fun, memorable stories, because again, like your cast went through all kinds of craziness. So like it was early in my time of knowing the show.
Sure.
And a lot of the cast I interviewed was very early in my time. I was actually looking back at a couple of the ones I did more recently, and one of them was Mackenzie, and I was like, oh yeah, she was the one that got attacked by a service dog. Like, you know, like that.
Oh my gosh,
like
I completely
those
forgot
stories.
that.
So it's like there are these like random things, but it's like, what do you remember that you'll never
wow.
forget?
I mean, the one sort of thing that I do remember it was when I was a swing, because I do remember there was this day, because I was a swing / booth singer. So whenever I wasn't on stage, I was booth singing. And so I was a full-time booth singer. And so I was just always singing. And during the show, we're in the booth, we're singing. And, you know, we also have our phones, or we have our hobbies, or whatever we're doing. And we're chilling because also we're just hanging. Like, and during, I want to say a good amount of the show, especially at the beginning of the show, we're singing. We're just there. And then I think our first sort of break that we get, where we get to go out of the booth and hang out, is Mungo Rump.
Yep.
Mungo Rump, because it's only them two on stage. So the rest of the cast also comes down and like gets to finally see and say hi to all of us. And so we're kikiing. And right next to the booth is the wardrobe room, which always has this like candy bucket that never fails. We always just like go, because also we're in the best shape of our lives in that show. Yeah. So like a Kit Kat, like every 15 minutes is perfectly okay. So I go into the wardrobe room, like, and I think a few people are with me. We go and like attack the candy bucket, and we're kikiing. All of a sudden, stage management runs down, and like at the door of wardrobe, he's like, he like points to me. He yells for me. He's like, Aaron, Carbuckety's out. You're on for Carbuckety as soon as you can. I have like a Kit Kat in my mouth, like mid bite, to which I'm like, I forget if I like finish the bite and then throw the rest away. Whatever it is, I'm like, okay. And I just start like being like, great. And he's like, all right, let me know when you're ready. And I'm like, okay, cool. I don't have enough time to like run back upstairs and get anything. I don't have enough time to like go check my notes. So it's just like, okay. I yelled at that point. I like yelled to the like makeup supervisor. I'm like, okay, Victoria, I need this color, and this color. I need to do da-da-da-da. I need to like, I was like, and then I yelled to the wardrobe supervisor. I was like, I need my skins for Carbuckety. I just like start like yelling everything like in every which direction of what I need, because I can't go upstairs. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then we just start putting me together, sort of like pit crew style. I just like get in the chair. I start doing my makeup. One of the other people puts on my like eyes. One of the other people like puts me in a hairnet. We get my mic, like we get everything sort of on during Mungo Rump. Mungo Rump is like just going, like they're singing, the song is going. I think I'm able to get on stage. So we're still getting ready through Mungo Rump, through Old Doot, and I think the ball begins. And I finally am ready to go. I think they like, because of course, from the moment he said, like, they like secretly my stage manager started like hit a stopwatch. And I think by the time I got on stage, I was able to figure out like an entrance to get onto the boot, which is the trunk of the car. Because I was like, that's the easiest sort of way to get on stage. That's not going to like mess any choreography up or mess any lifts up. Let me get on there. I think I got on stage and like from Kit Kat to on stage in about 12 minutes.
Wow.
Which was like, it was very, and adrenaline has never been more high in that, because I didn't get to warm up. I didn't get to like the way, because we didn't get to tell the only people who knew from the cast, the onstage cast, were the people who were in the wardrobe room with me, who then had to go on stage for Old Doot. So they weren't able to tell anyone. the amount of people who would like look at me or look at my costume and then see my face, and I would give them eyes being like, hey.
Yeah.
And they would be like to watch all of their eyes sort of like squint and then get big because they realize I'm no longer the person who normally plays Carbuckety. It was very funny and very fun. And it was the craziest ball I'd ever been in. And to this day, I think about that experience whenever I'm like, ain't no adrenaline like a mid-show swing on. When you can't check your notes and you're just like, all right, let's just see what's in there. And hopefully these jumps in second aren't going to like pull anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that was a very fun day.
That was an injury, I assume, right? Like somebody was out, like someone got hurt, and then you're coming in. Just for reference, you did this in the whole thing in 12 minutes. When you did your makeup for Carbuckety normally, what was that timing?
It was one of the easier, from what I remember, it was one of the easier plots. I think it only required like 2 or 3 colors. But
it's still probably 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Oh, it's a lot. Yeah, no, it's definitely like I think minimum, all of them sort of took like minimum of 15 minutes.
Yeah, so you're doing that on the fly while you're also getting dressed and probably hydrating and doing whatever you can to get ready to go.
Like
and then to go
my
do
toes.
one of the most physical, demanding parts of the show.
Oh, yes.
First.
Shot out of a cannon into the ball. And I remember the
13 minutes
first time,
straight of dancing.
because I also remember the first time I went on for the ball, I was playing Mungo. My first time on for the show was Mungo Jerry. And this was, I think, maybe a week into us running. I don't know if it was during preview. I think we were open at that point. And my friend Jess the Prado, who I did Newsies with, was Mungo Jerry. And he was the one that I was like, Jess is a workhorse. He'll be in. He's never going to be out. Obviously, I'm going to learn his stuff because I'm a professional. But like, yeah, it's going to be a while. Fast forward to when he's my first one on. And so, like I said, the only real break that the entire company has is Mungo Rump.
Is that, yeah.
Who doesn't get a break from Mungo Rump? Mungo and Rump. And so I'm there to do, like, I'm doing the show, doing Mungo Rump, adrenaline's high. I get to Mungo Rump. Mungo Rump is crazy. It's such a hard number because it's also just them two. And then we get to Old Deuteronomy, and they're just on the boot the whole time because they're trying to recover. We get through all of Old Deut, and the ball begins. And I turned to Shanika, who was our Rumple teaser at the time, and I said, "I'm not recovered yet." And she's like, "Good luck," and slides down, slides off the thing, and like leaves me alone. And I'm like, okay, here we go. 13 minutes later, I think we get halfway through to what we used to call cat sex in the middle of the thing before, like when we're all just sort of rolling around. And Mungo and Rump are down stage left, like quote unquote having sex, just rolling around each other. And I'm literally like pawing at her, knowing that the hardest part of the ball is coming. And I'm just pawing at her, trying to breathe and saying to her with like full eye contact, I'm like, I'm gonna die. And so, because also like no one warns anyone before they go into cats about just how hot the yak hair is. Like, because again, also as a male identifying performer, more often than not, we don't have wigs. So the women know this more than the men. But the amount of air that needs to escape from your body that doesn't get to escape because it is caught with basically a winter hat was like, I was lying down and I'm like, I'm gonna die. And she was like, you got it, you got it, you got it. And then we start gunk. And I was like, oh my God, we're about to do this and I'm not ready. And it was the most reckless I have ever danced, because how else do you do that number? Because I literally thought that I was going to die the first time I went on.
Pure adrenaline.
Adrenaline, and it spent before the ball even started.
Yeah.
It was, that was a manic day. Non-throw-on stories, I think. Anything fun that used to happen? I mean, my number was always fun. The ball was always fun when I finally got used to it. Yeah. I mean, again, it was 10 years ago, so now I'm trying to like remember things. The stuff that Tyler would like, because again, like we're really good friends, and again, like I think I heard in a couple of your episodes, like the Tugger Skimble relationship was a little more fluid in our production than it has ever been in any other production.
Yeah.
So, you know, he would like, I don't know, dare me to do things, and I'd be like, sure, why not? Let's just play, and it was very fun.
That was an early fun part of this podcast was when there was a lot of like the headcanon that's on the Wikipedia site and like lore of the show.
Sure.
That's very clearly, now that I've seen it, you know, in different productions, is just friends playing with each other, knowing that there's not a lot of like you can have a lot of loose interpretations of this. Like you just said, your Mungo and Rump were having sex and on top of each other. Like there's a lot that play a brother-sister. Yeah. And it's just because the two of them feel platonic, and it's like they're not going to play it that way. Mm-hmm. But early on, I remember reading that there is this like lore between Skimbleshanks and Tugger, and we don't really know where it's from, but we think it's from the 2016 revival. And there was like a little bit of like this weird quirky thing. And so I was like, again, very early in me interviewing people, and I interviewed Tyler, and I'm like, Tyler, let's bring this to life. Like, can you, like, I'm going directly to you. Can you answer this? And it was so funny because it was, and then I had Jeremy on later, and it was just, they're friends. Yeah. And they had a moment that some super fan caught where they were just kind of like laughing with each other. And that fan brought it to them at the stage door and was like, I think you all did this today. And they were like, yeah, sure. Why not? And then they kind of kept it because it was like, oh, like people enjoyed that and liked it. But it's so funny to me that the lure of a show can be so simply from one night of two friends just having that look on stage. Or for all we know, there's somebody that noticed your Carbucky that day, and just you like being thrown on mid-show, having a different look to somebody else of like the, oh no, I can't believe I'm actually out here, could have been their version of why your Carbucky character was dating this person or friends with this person or anything, because that's the levels of this show that people go into, which is why I love it. It's the part I love most.
And that's also, I think, why like part of my like, hey, Aaron, chill out as a performer, like came from sort of Cats, because I remember hearing about a lot of this lore and hearing about all of this stuff and but I was like, okay, cool. But also, if we're going to get really nitty gritty about it, I'm like, the source material are the poems and the songs. Like anything outside of that is extra. And so like
completely,
we can really do whatever we want outside of this. Like I remember also, again, chorus line sort of in the same way. Like there are the basic things that we know about those characters. And obviously that's a different story in some ways because those were real people or based on real people. But like, hey, if like Connie and Richie want to be like have a closer relationship because they're the only people of color on the line that day, then great. Like, what does that do to the show? What does that do to and it's a way to sort of learn about the thing. Yeah. And in sort of in another way, like, okay, like to use another like cult classic show, like, okay, so in Newsies, maybe Finch and Race don't like each other today. Okay, what does that do to the group? Like and so Cats is very much like that. Like I was like, yeah, it makes sense that like Tugger and Skimble don't like each other because their personality types don't mesh, but that's not a hard and fast rule in life. So why is it a hard and fast rule in our show? Like, yeah,
it's like The Odd Couple though. Like, you know, it's just because their personality, you can have that. The lore thing is so funny to me because I didn't know a lot of it, have learned a lot of it. And it's a show that's been around for so long that there's just so much of it. Yeah. And now it's like, I have like slowly added to it. And that is like a very weird thing for me to take because there's been theories I've thrown out that I know I've never heard anybody talk about. and then I've heard come back to me, and then I'm pretty confident nobody was asking if Grisabelle was the right or wrong Jellicle choice
until
until I was around. Maybe if they were, it wasn't like a hot debate. But I've heard people answer now that that's like their hot take.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I know that this lore can be influenced more so, probably just because the show's happening so much at so many times in so many places.
Yeah.
That
I mean, and
it's,
plus,
it's ever going.
Like, because especially with the lore, because especially now with all of the different like types of Cats shows that are coming out, like how has Jellicle Ball influenced the lore? How has like country cats, like Texas cats influenced the lore? Like the lore is ever changing, which is awesome. And like, who's to say that any of it's wrong? Why? Because none of it's wrong or none of it's right.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, these are cats, bro. Like,
Coaster Cats did a bunch of kittens from like high school and college kids, and they all were different names and added to the story. And you know, there's a lot that I appreciate that Andrew Lloyd Webber has given the freedom to allow something that is so successful and historic and loved and hated, but like, and you know, like universally, like it has done so well to at least be tinkered with, but without losing its essence. Because like the Jellicle Ball is tinkered.
Oh,
like, that is
for
vastly
sure.
tinkered, and it's.
I'm a
incredible.
proponent that it might be the best version of the show. Like hot take, not a hot take. It gets rid of a lot of people think that.
It gets rid of the. It takes all the haters out of it, because a lot of the hate too is also just it's weird in cats costumes. They're not in cats costumes, so you get rid of that criticism, and then it does tell a slightly cleaner story. Because of adding the ballroom element, you get a little bit more storyline through, because you're put into a world and a scene that has a little bit more linear story to it.
Well, I mean,
and,
and you're relating it to something that people now
they know
understand or can understand. Like there's a gateway in. Like again, it's like all you need is the gateway. Like again, the way I say like, or the way you've said like it's American Idol for cats, or it's Chorus Line for cats, or something. It's you don't even need like a hard and fast plot. You just need the gateway for someone to be like, oh, I see that.
Yeah.
Period. It's over.
It's like, it's so helpful in a lot of theater. Like I went to see this past summer, I saw 12th Night, and thank God my friend who I was going with looked at me before the show and goes, you know, this is just She's the Man. And I'm like, oh,
oh, precisely. Oh, adaptations are.
I would have never thought about that, and I would have been so lost. But the minute he said that to me, I was like, oh, I'm ready. Like I know that movie. I know exactly what's going on. And then it's like I followed
and now
it
you can
really
follow
clearly.
it and be like, oh, this is great.
That's what you need for cats a lot. But that's what you need for a lot of theater.
Yeah.
And you can go in blind and have a great time, and or you can go in and have a whirlwind of an experience. Like you just I think that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it. But we're gonna take a quick break, and then we'll be back for more of The Wrong Cat Died. All right, let's do some rapid fire.
Oh crap!
So,
here we are. Okay.
You can go on one night, any cat, male, female, it doesn't matter. Who do you want to play?
Me as me now, like as I would love to be, like probably Gus. I'm a Gus man.
Okay.
If there is no like limit to ability or
that's the way I
would
interpret this question.
Yeah, if there's no limit, like if I can be the best version of whatever that is, Misto.
Misto,
Because I think once upon a time I would have loved play Misto. I am now too. No, they're like Misto is out of my wheelhouse now. But Misto, like, bro, that number's in any form, that number is fierce. That number is great.
Yeah. I asked that question with the best form kind of view because I can't do any of them. So it's like I'm looking at this from a standpoint of like, who would I want to do? And I think I kind of go back to I always think about the opposite of my personality type is probably the most fun.
Yeah.
So that's how you answer the question, but I love it.
I mean, maybe Victoria also, but yeah, for sure.
Victoria, yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite and least favorite cat. So from a personality standpoint, which one would you want to hang out with and which one would you get annoyed by?
Here's what's so funny. Like, once upon a time, I probably would have said Bustifer, but with the Jellicle Ball, Bustifer has become my favorite cat. Like, because I remember when it was downtown still, because it's not, I mean, depending on when you're listening to this, it might have already opened on Broadway or whatever. This was back when it was downtown. I remember when friends would go, both alums and non-alums, my question of being like who my question of being like who was the best person without being who's the best person, I was like, who won the ball? Like who actually won the ball? And the fact that some people were like, I mean maybe Bustafer, and I was like, the fact that Bustafer is an option means I am not prepared for what this show's about to be.
Yeah.
And then I went to go see the show and I was like, Bustafer's got it, man. Bustafer Jones. Yeah.
Shout
so
out
I
Nora.
think he used to be my least and now he's my best.
Okay. What about, okay, so that's both answers then. Favorite song in the show?
I'd love to pick one of the big ones, but I will say because I didn't catch how much it would make me emotional going to go see the Jellicle Ball again. I didn't realize how emotional it would make me. Finale.
Yeah.
Like after she sings Memory and the receiving line into the heaven, into the ascension, like the up. I guess that's not technically the finale, but
no,
it's
the journey to the Heaviside Layers.
Yeah, that one.
Like piece of the song. Yeah,
I think that one.
Yeah, that makes sense. The finale is the
addressing of
the
cat.
very last song, addressing
not
cats.
addressing.
Yeah,
Addressing?
Not addressing.
Naming is the first one. Addressing is the last one.
Addressing is the last one. Yeah.
Yeah. So addressing. But yeah, no. Journey to the Heaviside Layer, I think.
Okay.
Final answer.
Okay. I know you've recorded voiceovers for books, and so I always ask one fun question. So, which cat do you think would be the best at doing voiceovers for a book?
Which cat would be the best audiobook narrator?
Yeah.
Oh wait, Gus. Duh.
Gus is a good answer.
Gus, yeah, because the theater cat would definitely be. Maybe Gus in his prime, maybe not Gus as he's presented in the show, but Gus in his prime would fucking kill an audiobook, of course. Yeah.
I had a couple different answers though that I was thinking about like over the course of time of who I've heard. I think Bombalurina would be really good at it.
She would be good. I'm thinking more of like the versatility of like when you're reading a fiction book and you need to like
you need voices,
do different voices and like different
okay.
intonations
Fair.
and things.
Very fair. Okay. And then my other answer was going to be Monkastrap, just because he narrates already. So it's like he probably could do a lot of it.
Probably like the one with the best like Calm app voice would be probably Bomb.
Yeah.
Bomb would give like a sultry sleep time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. Most important question. I've debated this at length. So I
Sure.
want to hear Aaron, your answer.
Okay.
Who's your Jellicle choice and why?
Of the people presenting, because here's my, having listened to some of the theories on like how this show is structured, of the people I'm choosing from, I think the numbers where everybody's in, those are candidates. I think period, the end. Like Skimble's a candidate, like Bustafer's a candidate, Tugger's a candidate. Like all of these people are candidates. Unless there's like a number where nobody's on stage, because like Mungo Rump just happened to be stealing something and they're telling us who they are.
Okay, so they're not a part of
They're not candidates.
choice.
I don't think McCavity is a candidate either, as much as like maybe you could interpret like Demeter and
wants to be.
Baum wanting him to go away or whatever.
Yeah.
But like he's like, again, the panel's not there to hear it. So he's not a candidate. Misto is a candidate. Like, so that's sort of my reasoning on who's up and who's not. And I think I'm still on the Gus train. Gus.
Perfect.
Because again, like he's being presented as a candidate by Jelly. And like he's there. And so of the candidates that exist, as much as it pains me, because I think Skimble would be a great candidate, I think Gus deserves to go.
What's Skimble's argument for why he's ready to go?
I think it's as simple as I'm the best one. Like
Just purely best.
Because I would always play my entrance into the number, because it would be after Peaks and Pollicles, because we did we allowed Gus his moment at that point. And it's like, oh, yay. Oh, beautiful grandpa is done. And now, like, all right. And at least the way I put it, I was like, no, we're back. All right. That was fun. We just honored, we just had our in memoriam moment of the show. We're back on the awards. Let's go. Like, we're back. And so, like, it's time. It's time. I'm here. Like, I've been doing this job, and this is why I'm the most qualified. I mean, I end basically like on like a mountain, I finished the number standing on other cats, so being like, yep, you just heard about me. Why wouldn't I be chosen?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You literally are being lifted up by them to the heaviside layer.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah. And again, I feel like you needed to be, again, which is also why I think Grisabella's choice is so unique for this year, is because she's not presenting herself. And we choose her because she doesn't present herself because she thinks she's going to win. She just wants to be back. And we're actually going to give her the highest honor, despite like there's a whole, I think there's the unique part about her being the choice in our version of the why is this night different than other nights? Yeah. Like, this is why it's different. Because if we think that this is happening every year, like every other award ceremony, like, nah, you need to be like submitted, you need to be chosen, you need to be nominated, you need to do the things. And her re-entrance into the tribe changes this night up. Yeah. But
you're still picking Gus.
If we're gonna stick to the rules, period.
Yeah. Like, very Skimble of you. We're sticking to the rules.
If we're gonna stick to the goddamn rules, Gus is going.
Gus is going. Mm-hmm. I love it. Another vote for Gus. We need more. He's trailing behind a little bit here from the. It was a 2-cat race. It's still a 2-cat race, but Grisabella's got a little bit of steam recently, and I need some more Gus votes. But.
I mean, you know, she does have the cannon power. Let's say that.
Yes. Yes. And she has the fact that it was written that way.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
The canon, single N and double N.
Yeah. But this has been super fun. Thank you for coming on, sharing all your stories.
Thanks for having me.
And having some fun with 10 years since you started it.
10 years. Let's do a reunion or something.
Maybe there's a Gus future for you at some point.
I love that.
Awesome.
Yay.
All right. Well, thank you, and thanks everyone else for listening to this episode of The Wrong Cat Died, the podcast breakdown of catastrophe. To follow along, you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or else podcast. Follow us on social media, The Wrong Cat Died, or check our website, thewrongcatdied.com.